overwhelmingly everything's pointing like Saints. Is the only thing that can stop them from winning it that sort of sense that on any given day, any given outcome is possible, and that weird nagging feeling that if everyone thinks something, we all want to be sort of finding the counter to that. How can Warrington find a way to win this one?
They've just got to stay in it. I think, like I talked about with Saints earlier, they've got to make sure that they're close enough, but don't try and do something every set. Take the opportunity when it's there, work them over, and try and get into Saints' bench rotation and cause them problems there. If you can survive, you can see off the first spells of the front row, then you've got a chance. If you can strike at that point, you've got, if you're within 6 points at that point, you've got a chance of edging your way back into it, and then it's game on. But I would only be looking in 10-minute periods. I'd be saying get to that 10-minute period and stay with, only concede once. Get to the next 10-minute period. I would be working very, very. I wouldn't be saying about too much of a complicated game plan. I'd be going very simple and just try and keep it.
Take inspiration from Halifax maybe, and do some things that might surprise the Saints. Or
yeah, I think so. But again, I think I wouldn't deploy them to it. I would keep them. Keep an element of it back. Keep into your second 10 minutes. So get into your third period. I just keep edging. I wouldn't try it. Halifax almost shot their bolt too early, and by just doing it straight from the kickoff, that said, okay, things are going to be funky here. But I think it's just keeping it going and keeping that momentum. And really, it's a lot of it will be down to the forwards putting a performance. They've all got to have 9 out of 10 performances to get close.
Yeah.
No, none of them. If one of them is at 6 out of 10, that's it.
You feel like 15 or 16 out of the Saints 17 will have 8 out of 10s without really, without any sweat. Whereas Warrington have to be, like you say, at that 9 out of 10 level. But of course, Tim, the Challenge Cup final is only the curtain raiser, because the headline act on Saturday
is the return of Sheffield to Wembley
at 5:30. I think on the R League app. Is it on BBC Online as well? Maybe, I don't know. But
possibly
it's
in the AB Sundex 1895 Cup final.
Yeah, and it is Sheffield versus Widnes. Obviously, two sides with Wembley heritage. I'll let you have first dibs at predicting this one.
I'm going to say Widnes by an Anthony Gelling drop goal in Golden Point extra time.
And how will he celebrate? That's the key. The man of the people.
I think he'll start celebrating straight then. I don't think he'll finish for a couple of weeks.
I'm boringly going to go Widnes as well, I suppose. And I just think it is those characters, those players who've had that top level experience, who won't be overawed and also know how to rise to the occasion. So I'm going to go Widnes 18 points to 10.
Yeah.
There is a game on Friday night in League One, so we've picked out as the default game of the week in League One. It's the Friday Night Lights fixture. On Friday nights, the London Scholars versus Hunslet. So yeah, get down to that if you are in the capital and have some spare time on the Friday.
And if you are going along to that, make sure you get down early as well and watch Africa United take on the GB Select London League seed, because there is a London League side that is selected up of GB eligible players who will be playing against Africa United as the curtain raiser for that.
Excellent stuff.
I only know because they asked me to organise it, but I'm the way.
Do get down early for that one. Okay, NRL Brit Picks, we've got the Broncos versus the Rabbitohs Friday at 10:55 a.m. And then over my page we have the Dragons versus the Roosters Saturday at 10:35 a.m. The Storm versus the Titans Sunday at 5 a.m. If you want to watch Callum Watkins get hammered, get up at 5 a.m. on Sunday. And then the Raiders versus the Sea Eagles Sunday at 7:05. Make sure any action that you watch over the next week, you get your fans' views in on the Google Forms. We want to hear from as many as as possible on the Challenge Cup final. We're now going to wrap up the show with a quiz and some recommendations. Right, Timothy, I've got a Twitter bio quiz for you.
Oh, my favourite.
All players who could potentially line up at Wembley this coming week. I've got 3 for you. I'll give you the club of... Let's see. I'll make the third one more difficult. So I'll give you the club of the first 2 and then let you pick the third one. So... the first one is a St Helens player whose Twitter bio reads, part-time rugby player, full-time good guy.
Is that Mr. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook?
No, it is not the rubber-jowled Cockney. It is Alex Walmsley.
Oh, well, he's a good guy. Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
I mean, I thought he was a better guy than a guy telling us he was a good guy, but...
Yeah. True.
The next one is a Warrington Wolves player who we've already talked about in this show, but we've talked about a lot of Warrington players, so it doesn't narrow it down massively. His Twitter bio says, just an ordinary kid wanting to build his faith whilst trying to fulfill his dreams.
Ooh. Is it Akalawaka?
It is Sitaleki Akawala, yes.
Yeah.
Dreaming his dreams of
yeah, all of that.
Playing at Wembley. Okay, the final player is from the 1895 Cup final, so he's on one of the 2 sides in that competition, and his Twitter bio reads Rugby League phenomenon.
Anthony Gelling.
It is man of the people, Anthony Gelling. 2 from 3. Well played indeed.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Hopefully, I've beaten Dr. Bob. That's the line.
It's been a while since we've caught up. This is the part of the show where we do our recommendations. Why don't you take us on a bit of a journey of how your summer's been so far, Tim, and what recommendations you've got from that journey?
Oh, I've been up to all sorts last few weeks. So, big news is that I am moving house. So Heather and I are moving in together. So I'm moving up to.
Congratulations! It's very exciting.
I'm not the only one who is on their way to Wembley.
Hey.
So I will be, or rather,
St Helens and Warrington aren't the
St
only
Helens,
ones,
Warrington, Widnes, and Sheffield are not the only ones on the way to Wembley, because I will be going as well. I'll be moving up in the autumn. So this weekend was spent doing our first go round my flat of trying to get rid of things, or rather, one person was trying to get rid of things and the other person was justifying their existence. It wasn't too bad.
Do you remember that word I mentioned before, compromise?
Yeah, well...
You started to learn how it works.
Such quotes included, why have you got 2 drones? And we need to have a conversation about rugby shirts. So that is on the radar. So they're going to I'm going to have to start finding hiding places. So I worked out I can probably stash a few at my parents' house, and there's a few that I might even be able to sneak into the office for a bit until things blow over. But certainly some are going to be moving on. We did 5 carloads of to either the dump or the charity shop yesterday. So there's a lot of best part of 5 years of crap in here that been getting rid of. But
I assume that when you move, one of the things you won't be taking with you and that you'll be using whatever Heather has instead is your clothes horse, because famously that's not a sturdy piece of equipment.
No, the famous dead clothes horse, actually it did go to the dump yesterday.
Right, there you go.
And it was very satisfying because the dump at Swindon, the skips
affectionately known by people outside of the area as Swindon.
Yeah. Is the Swindon Household Recycling Centre. You drive up a ramp and then the skips are a good 10 metres below you, so you really get to hurl the blooming stuff off. It's great fun. And so hurling that error off the thing yesterday was justice for the times it fallen over and made lots of noise and didn't wash things properly, etc. But yeah, before that we got back from Croatia last week. So it bleeds into a recommendation. At a nice holiday down there up to Pula, up on the north coast of Croatia, up not far from the Slovenian border, and It is possible for one to get a boat from Pula across to Venice. However, there's one small caveat that the boat needs to have not broken down. So the day we were planning to do that, the boat had actually broken down, so that got cancelled. But we did go to an island called Revenge, which was Baruni from Revenge, which was a national park, which was former dictator Joseph Tito's holiday home. So there's a little museum to him, shaking hands, and for the princely sum of €1,500 an hour, you could drive his car.
Wow!
And it was a big horrible old thing, but it was in a little glass case that you could look at. But it said, if you want to drive this car, please contact us. It's €1,500 an hour.
I assume not many people on your trip took up that.
We didn't see it going around the island. It was a great little sort of national park thing, and the best thing is the whole island obviously covered by sea. And you pretty much could swim anywhere you want. So lots of people just walked around, stopped off, jumped in the sea where they were, and went for a swim, which was great because it was nice and quiet. Not too many people. Not
what
lots
you're
of
saying is you went
kids.
skinny dipping off a dictator's island.
I did not go skinny dipping. There were, you're never quite sure where crabs are. But you have to be careful about these things. It's all about the safety, kids. But yeah, we had a good time. We also went dolphin watching one day on a little boat, and we took out from one of the ports. And we also climbed up a church tower in a town called Revenge, where it was about 60 metres up, and it was all wooden staircases that were very shaky, and it was quite an interesting climb because it was a good, very steep angle, and you could feel that as you put your foot down, it sort of moved slightly away from the wall and slightly down.
That's
and
like
it was not fun.
Rickety staircase up to our loft space, actually. So I can totally sympathise. Yeah, I can feel like I'm there every time I'm going into my roof.
You don't get many German tourists barge past you as you're gently making the steps up. At least I hope not.
More than you would expect.
And hopefully it's not 36.5 degrees as well while you're doing it.
No.
So that was the warmest day. It was as we decided to climb that. So that was not good fun but the whole holiday was nice. We had a slight incident where we got trapped in the apartment where the door didn't unlock in one morning as we were off to the beach, which was entertaining. What was even more entertaining is when the locksmith arrived to let us out, he decided to come in and test the door from the inside.
Thus locking himself.
Thankfully he didn't, but I was envisaging a sitcom-esque scenario where the locksmith joins in our game of cards.
And then you would get a fourth lock person in and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it was going to be. And the one thing that we did, which leads me on to my recommendation, the one thing we did the day we got back from holiday was went to Secret Cinema.
Okay.
The Casino Royale.
With it,
yeah, so basically what they do is they make an immersive cinema experience somewhere, generally in the London area, in a giant warehouse. They take it over and they make this into a giant experience. This time it was in Dagenham, which is, I can safely report, the arse end of the world. Trying to get there was not fun, and trying to get back from it took over 2 hours to get back, which was not fun at all. But it was absolutely amazing when you got there. They're all actors acting out various bits of it. So during the cinema screening itself, which was the conclusion of the night, you had actors acting along what was going on. And then the rest of it beforehand was kind of like a sort of murder mystery meets Crystal Maze meets live action role play thing where you had a code name and an alias and a thing you had to dress up as, and you had to act along with it. They've done quite a few of them, but this was the Casino Royale one. It was brilliant fun. So I definitely recommend doing one of their events in the future. But that was a lot of fun.
Excellent stuff. I could talk about DIY and having my boiler fitted. That was fun because my brother is a plumber. He came round to do it. Brought my nephew and niece to help him. I'm not sure how helpful the 3-year-old and a 7-year-old are in those